this one has a interesting title, but after watching it, definitely see a very fitting title to it. So what is it about then? IMDb says a psychiatrist becomes obsessed with one of her young patients, who she later discovers is linked to an ancient curse. All right, interesting stuff there. Not really explaining too much about the flesh part, so I guess I'll have some explaining to do here. New film, got to see a screener for. Actually saw it a little while ago, been waiting to do this review. So we will try to keep this as spoiler free as possible, as I know that it is coming out here shortly. So the basics of this one, and this one also, I should say, is done by Joe Lynch, who I enjoy some of his movies, and also Heather Graham and Barbara Crampton is in this movie. So definitely some good acting to come here as well. So anyway, kind of getting all that stuff out of the way before I forget. As far as what we have here, we do have a psychiatrist here, and kind of seeing patients as you would expect, and it is always has to be that one patient who comes in unscheduled or you're not expecting, and that kind of just ruins everything. So yeah, kind of ruins everything here. So a young man comes in the office there, and kind of explaining a little bit about what his issue is, what his problem is. And, she really wants him to have an appointment and is not sure. But then he says stuff that convinces her to kind of listen to what he says. And, this goes on for a little bit. But then has this moment where things kind of flip and becomes very weird. And some weird events happening before he leaves and departs here in his fashion, in his unusual way here. And, as she kind of leaves this, the office that day and so forth, he's definitely left a lasting impression on her. She, is left to continue to think about him and what happened there, and she, being, the doctor that she is, she wants to help and kind of wanted to help more than she was able to in that short amount of time. She has a husband at home. She goes back to them. You kind of see a little bit about their relationship, and they seem to have a good one there. And, it kind of weighs on her a little bit until, she has another run-in with him. And she eventually ends up at one night going to what he thinks is his house, and trying to see him because she thinks it's an emergency situation. But instead ends up running into this old man, and who she learned maybe a little bit about in her discussions with the young man. But it's definitely going to be an odd old man, and he's got some weird stuff going on as well. Trying to be as spoiler free as possible is hard to go too much further into this, but let's say, like it does say in the plot there's a curse, and I guess the curse is connected in some ways, some fashion, between the old man and this young guy. And let's just say the psychiatrist here, she finds herself caught in between. And with any kind of curse, there is, certain, so-called rules or way the curse is kind of passed on here and there and so forth, and kind of back and forth, or to whatever individuals you want to say. So, she kind of gets caught up in that. And there's also going to be a small police investigation that's part of it, but it's never really a major thing here. So again, like I said, she's still caught up in this, and trying to figure out, what the story is with the old man, what the story is with this young man, and, kind of doesn't really know too much about this curse. Uh, but, as she finds out, the audience is going to find out more about the curse as this kind of goes on. And then that kind of sets up the horror, I guess, per se, and that's to come in the movie. And as far as Barbara's character in this movie, she's another doctor, and actually, as a matter of fact, I didn't really say it. This part of the movie happens because you see this psychiatrist woman actually get locked up because of everything that's happening between this young man and this old woman. They think that she's also gone a little bit crazy. So you kind of see her locked up, and then early in the film, and then you find out why she's locked up, and then Barbara is basically her not only friend, fellow colleague, but kind of her doctor as well. So she also gets kind of tied into the story here at some point. So a lot going on there. I'm trying not to give too much away to kind of get it out there. I know when I believe I shared the trailer for this, somebody who watched it mentioned another movie, and it was like that, and I, for the life of me, I can't remember, because this was a couple of weeks ago, I think, what movie they had mentioned, but it was a good guess, or it was a good hint at what it is. And maybe after you guys watch it, you guys will kind of know that movie or a similar movie. It is also, I believe, the story is based on a Lovecraft story, so maybe that kind of builds to it. I think I've said it before, I'm not very familiar with most of his work. So whenever, we get one of these movies that says based on his story, to me it is new. I severely lack in knowledge of his stories. So, maybe early on you'll get where this is going if you're definitely a fan of his, the direction of the film and what is happening here, and maybe other films that are kind of like this. What is happening here has happened. We've kind of seen it in different versions in different other movies, so it is not a total, new thing here. But definitely a good movie. I liked how it went. The ending was exciting, and kind of what is happening here always sets up for a little bit of mystery and deception here at when the excitement happens. And I don't want to get too much into the specifics of it, but definitely the final moment, there's going to be obviously a big scene here towards the end, and it is definitely a good scene, and a lot of drama in that scene and what's happening here. And basically, you gonna also kind of know, kind of gonna root for the doctor woman here, but do you really? And then you might want to root for maybe another character, and so forth. It just kind of depends. There are going to be moments to like and not like probably everybody in the film. But definitely a good dramatic scene towards the end. And I liked the overall story. I liked where it went, regardless of whether you've seen it or not. I guess if it rings a bell with other things, and right now I couldn't name a movie off the top of my head. I'm so bad at that. Sometimes it comes to me, sometimes it doesn't. But especially now at this time of year when it's watching movie after movie, it's hard to think about other movies that you saw a long time ago. But definitely, like I said, if you're a Lovecraft film fan, you probably kind of know and kind of figure that out a lot quicker. So, but I think this one's been also at festivals prior to its release now. So I think it's done well there as well. So I definitely think fans have shown that they like it, and I think you guys like this one as well. Like I said, it is still a good story, whether you feel that you've seen it or not. this kind of story. And obviously the acting is good, and I like the back and forth, and I like the interaction. It definitely gave, and also the way this story is and what is happening here kind of gives the characters a chance, or I should say the actors and actresses here, a chance to kind of do a little bit more than maybe they usually do, or expand their roles. And I guess I'll say it as that, again, trying to keep it as spoiler free as possible. But yeah, it kind of gives them a little bit more to chew on there. And definitely the interaction between the certain characters is definitely fun as well. And I think all of them do a very good job amongst themselves and acting with each other, and then the back and forth that they have. So definitely recommend checking this one out. I'm going to give it 3.5 pools of blood, and that is out of 5 for those who may not know. So yeah, a new one. Definitely check this out. I'm going to say Shudder, but I'm not sure at this point. I should have double checked before, but I believe so. But regardless of Shudder or streaming, where it is, definitely check it out. Like I said, it's done well in the few film festivals that it's been at. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well, as much as I did. So with that, horrorsquarereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Definitely, if you're interested just in the video reviews, you can subscribe, like to the channel, do all those things that everybody wants you to do. But if not, no worries, no problem. But do please swing over to the shorts and check those out as well. I'm trying to give you guys a little something more of that. And Twitter, Facebook information down below. Feel free to reach out to me there for reviews. If you want to talk about this movie, horror, whatever, feel free to do so there. Also, if you're reviewing something horror-wise and you want me to retweet or share or whatever, I'm happy to do so. It doesn't bother me to do so. So feel free to swing over there and then share it there. And down in the comment section, once you see this movie, please feel free to share your thoughts. And if you're a Lovecraft film fan, what did you think, and what do you think of the story, and kind of the relationship of what kind of unfolds here. So with that, I guess I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.